the ship of your dream. When you're low, it's still flowing above. That's how it works when you're working on love. Working on, working on, working on love. Working on love, love, working on love. Working on, working on, working on love. Working on love, love, working on love. Working on, working on, working on love. Working on love, love, working on love. Working on, working on, working on love. Working on love, love, working on love. What's spinning you up when time gets tight? What's keeping the shine while your watch is bright? What's leading you on when the road disappears? What's feeding your flame and fighting your fears? Working on, working on, working on love. Working on love, love, working on love. Yeah, working on, working on, working on love. Working on love, love, working on love. Working on, working on, working on love. We're working on love, love, working on love. Working on, working on, working on love. We're working on love, love, working on love.
Welcome to another episode of Maniacal Music Musings. I'm your host, Jeremy, as always, and as you may know, I'm the best. But just
I
so you
believe it.
know, I like you already. But just so you know, both of us, we're not bad for the kids. We're worse, way worse. I've had a semi-charmed life and have been called the party messiah in my past. Our show may seem horrible, but it's just horror fiction, baby. So we're working on love here and trying to move on. But speaking of love, let me introduce my co-host. I let him out of his timeout so that the god of wine himself may party with him. Something wicked this way comes. And girls, he's got no game, don't worry, but he'll light you up. He has narcolepsy and looks in the mirror saying, I want you, while playing the riff on his guitar. So come here and bring your candy for the cannibal. Chancey motherfucking Greif.
Woo!
Hi.
Let's go.
Right?
And of course, your musers always bring a guest to talk to. And our guest this week, I am very proud to have on. As we've had a bunch of musicians on lately, and every single one has been a blast to have on. Seem like our kind of people. And this week is no exception, as we have James of Apollo with us. And we will see what he brought forth in a few minutes. But first things first, James, how you doing?
I'm pretty well. Proud to be here. I mean, proud to be anywhere, but here in particular, right now, in this moment, with you two, it's absolutely lovely.
Well, we're glad to have you. And why don't you start off by just telling the audience how you got into music?
It's a combination of things. From a very early age, I had a knack for writing with a particular interest in poetry, and I also had an inextinguishable desire to just perform in whatever way I could find. Like I was a kid in like grade school who'd randomly like just jump on the desk in the middle of class and burst into song just because I had something in me that I needed to get out. Now that wasn't perhaps the best move. It wasn't the healthiest outlet. But at the time, I just was like had no particular channel for all this energy, and I was just like blasting it out everywhere in whatever form I could find. And then I realized, oh, I can take my lyrics that my poetry and combine it with rock and roll music and be at the front of the stage and jump around like a maniac. And yeah, I thought, oh, cool, there's a job for that. It's called being a rock and roll singer. Let's go. So that was a bit of my journey to get here.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Seeing your videos on Spotify today and some of the songs actually had you in the background and you doing your thing, and I could definitely see the jumping around thing. So 100% with you on that. And glad you found a good outlet for it. I mean, it's important we get our energy out and needs out in the world. So I'm 100% down for that, and I can't say I ever had energy like that, but if I did, I would want to do the same thing probably. But I'm just a skinny kid in a fat kid's body. But well, fat man's body, I guess, kind of. But whatever. Yeah, but I guess kind of the opposite of fat man in a little suit. But I mean, kind of the opposite of that. But what
I mean, I
album
still
did
feel
you?
like a 12-year-old in like an adult body, so I know the feeling kind of.
Yeah, there you go. But what album did you want to bring today? Even though we both know, obviously, but what album did you want to bring, and why did you want to bring it? Even though yeah, that's pretty obvious once people hear the name. But
So the one I chose was the debut out full-length album by my band Hot Apollo called Invented Music.
Shooter, get off the gun. Show me now if you're not the one. Come on out if we're going to dance. Get out of my dreams and into my pants. I put my cards on the table to start. Take a look, they're a handful of hearts. Let it down, change your baby, do. Just tell me if I should want you. Time out, time out, time out, time out. Time out, time out, time out, time out. Take the time, tell me what we're about. Time out, time out, time out, time out.
And I brought it because, it speaks to me on a deep level. In fairness, a lot of the things I write are speaking to myself, at least in part. It's manifesting, what's in my heart and seeing how it resonates with the wider world, seeing if any other people are picking up what I'm laying out. But also, it's important to me because it's the first full length I produced, and it's a good introduction to what we are as a band, and I love it. I mean, I'm like, I think it redounds upon an artist to be their own biggest fan, and I certainly can't get enough of listening to my own stuff. So I had an opportunity to like talk about it in depth on the show with music aficionados like you do. How can I pass that up?
of course, and I mean, before I let Chancey give his review of it, let me ask you this: do you sing and do guitar, or is it just one or the other?
So I mainly just focus on the singing, but I do help with I write all the lyrics, but I also have a hand in crafting some of the riffs. I know just enough on guitar and piano to help with the sort of music composition, but I'm not actually that great at playing it, and I leave that up to the actual virtuosos in the band. Because
Okay.
seriously, I'm the front man, but the instrumentalists in the band are just amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, 'cause, the picture I grabbed for the thumbnail for this week with you is like you with a guitar around your neck. So I'm like, oh, is he actually the lead guitarist too, or I didn't know for sure, but
I know I support him rhythm occasionally, but maybe like once or twice in the show I might like strap on a guitar just for some variety. But usually, even at a live performance, I prefer to be unencumbered to give greater focus to the aforementioned jumping around like a maniac.
all right, I respect that. But Chancey, why don't you give your review of Hot Apollo's album? What do you think of it?
I've been actually waiting for one of our guests to bring their own album to the show, so it was kind of yeah. So I didn't quite realize it until listening to the album, so I'm kind of like, man, what is this? I haven't heard, I can't put it anywhere. I can't put anything on it. I can't put it anywhere. Like the first track, I'm like, it sounds like they got Iggy Pop singing. And then a few further ones down, it's like, man, it's like they got the Misfits or something. Like it's like a compilation of all these different singers. And then I was talking to Jeremy, and Jeremy's like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the guest album." I'm like, "Man, this is fucking crazy! Like, that's awesome." And I was also, uber stoked about the fact that I've been waiting and hoping for someone to just pick their own. Like, no, I'm not going to bring another album. I am an artist. Here's my stuff. Art, please.
Well, and one, I not Chancey, I told you it was his. I told you it was the artist. It was our guest's own album right away. I didn't say I think it is because
Oh,
I mean,
well, you know
when the
me.
guest,
I don't pay much attention anyway.
well, you don't. But I mean, when the guest literally has the email name of Ha Apollo and the band's name is Ha Apollo, you kind of put two and two together. But and I mean, he asked me right away if he could bring his own CD, and I was like, of course you can, of course you can. I'm like, we've been waiting for that for a while. I mean, I understand like one of the last people we had on who was an artist, like he heard we listened to some of his older like metal stuff from like 10 years ago, and he was so embarrassed about it, and we were like,
I
but
thought
it
it was
rocked.
good, but
Yeah, we're like,
yeah.
it rocked. Like, why didn't you want to bring that? Like, it's incredible. Like, I mean, I guess just everybody's their own worst critic, of course. I mean, I am my podcast as well. So,
Except
but
for James. James is his own biggest type.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I might be the thing I might be most critical of is actually, I mean, I love my stuff, but in fairness, I also love like everything else. I don't like I look at my own work from a critical eye, but when I'm like consuming someone else's art or whatever, I just take what they give me. It's like, oh, you made this. These are choices I might not have made, but like I'm not here for the thing I made. I'm here for the thing you made. So whatever it is, I'm gonna like enjoy it on its own terms. So I'm the harshest critic on myself, but it's still not necessarily that harsh because I'm actually no kind of critic about anyone else. Like I'm a bit
yeah,
of a gourmand when it comes to like other art. It's just, oh, cool, this is it. No notes. Like feed me, you know?
yeah,
Um so but
that's the way it
when
should
I'm
be.
like, yeah, well, yeah, I think so. I mean, people get so bent out of shape if like some movie they saw isn't exactly the movie they imagined in their head. It's like you can imagine a movie in your own head and actually make that. That's a choice. You're not there for
Right?
that though. But
Well,
yeah, when I'm making my own stuff, I do uh, try to like finesse it into like the best work I can craft. I'm like very careful about that aspect of things. But then once it's made, I know it's awesome, and I'm not going to hide that. And also, like some people talk about like finding old art they've created after years and going back to it, feeling embarrassed. When I like look over like some lyrics I wrote like 10 years ago or whatever, like I'm generally blown away. It's like, oh man, I forgot I wrote this. This is awesome. I love this. Um, so yeah, that's how I approach art anyway.
I mean, well, we won't get into movies. I think that were horrible conceptions of the actual literature they came from. But we won't discuss Stephen King movies on this episode because then we'll be here for 3 hours. But for one
That's another
example,
show though. I'd be up for that show too. Maybe not Stephen King. I don't know much about him, but in general, we can talk about movies
oh,
sometime.
I mean, I could talk. We could talk Harry Potter for fucking hours too. But
Ooh,
yeah, exactly. But see, I kind of went along the same line when I started listening to your album this morning because I listened to your album this morning on my way to get cigarettes and coffee before work and all that, and I was like kind of like I originally listened to a few tracks like here and there when I was trying to pick my own selection for this week, and I'll get into that when I get to my CD, but because that was another road completely. But I'm just like listening to it, I'm like I can't think of what this makes me think of, like early Motley Crue maybe, or like some type of 80s rock possibly. Like I couldn't put down like an actual artist that made me like compare to, which is great because I mean not you don't want to be compared to another artist because then it's gonna be like, oh, there's the next so and so. Like you want to be original, which I I enjoyed it though. I mean, there's a lot. Some of the tracks were, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the lyrics were a little bit too simple and repeaty for me, but that's me. That's just the way I am. I'm not. That's the reason I listen to pop music is because I'm not a fan of that type of stuff. But some of the songs, like I could really relate to and get with, and I was like, oh, okay, this is deeper. I can get this a little bit more, and like, but every album's like that. Every album has songs that you just get. Every album has songs you can relate to, and then other songs that you really just can't relate to as much. Like it's just the way music is. Like even my favorite artists, I can't relate to 100%. So But it's just so. I mean, I enjoyed it overall, though. It was a good way to wake up in the morning. I think like it was just a, but it definitely had like an '80s rock feel to it. That's the main thing I came across. Like there's like an '80s rock feel, like playing in the whiskey in California and whatnot. But so I gotta ask though, what are your
Yes.
own? What are your top 5 songs for your own album? Because I'm kind of curious to what songs you love the most out of your album.
So I'm not the greatest at ranking things. I know the show is about that, so I've been trying. I know the first one I would choose, and this was I made it the first single from this album. It was Baby Lord, and I chose that one because uh, it holds within it several of the different flavors of Hot Apollo. You know, like some of our songs are like more romantic, maybe more mystical, maybe like softer, gentler. Some of them are I've got more of a punky feel. Some are like straight ahead rock. And Big Lord has like sections that touch upon all of those. So I really like it for that. And um lyrically, I think it does a bit of that too, where it has this sort of a bit of whimsy to it, a bit of like magic, a bit of grandeur, but also a bit of tenderness, you know, and definitely a lot of romance. And it's like it's adapted from a poem I wrote a while ago, and it's also one of the favorite poems I wrote. So that was an easy first pick.
All right.
Next, also this another single from the album would be "Working on Love," which I really enjoy because it's just like it's got a really good dance feel, you know? Like some people find it hard to like really get into the dancing mood with like rock and roll or whatever. But sometimes you'll find like a good rock song or just any kind of like pop song that you can really like just groove to. And I think Working on Love does that. It's got a bit of um like I mean there's a lot you talk about the 80s, there's a lot of that in the 80s where there'd be like a lot of the big rock acts also had a sort of dancey sensibility. Like look at like Duran Duran or something like that. You know what I mean? Kind of like dance rock. And so I like a bit of that kind of energetic vibe to it. So Work on Love is definitely another standout for me.
Wait till you
Yeah,
see
go
where that
ahead.
one is on my list. Wait till you see where that one is on my list. Just saying. But
All right. Next, after those, I'm not sure that there's any particular order, but Party Party Messiah for some reason is a song I find myself listening to with a special frequency. Um, I think it's something about the staccato riff in the chorus. The da 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 da. It's that really does it for me, and that hooks me in every time. And also, um, I think it also Easter just passed around here, and there are a lot of good Christmas songs, too, Hanukkah songs, um, songs for a bunch of different holidays. I don't know if there's like a real Easter anthem, and while I didn't write it with this in mind, I think Party Messiah could be a pretty good Easter anthem if you ignore the more lascivious aspects of it. Um, Girl, I've Got No Game is a song I wrote after a first date that went pretty well, despite the fact that I was, floundering all over the place. And
been
it
there.
has a special spot in my heart for that. And it's just a really fun like kind of like party rock song. Um, that but also like the message in it is like just be your crazy idiot self, and maybe things will go well anyway. And that's how I approach life, at least. And I think sending out that message to the wider world is a good positive thing.
All right. And well, actually, I mean, as far as Easter songs go, the only Easter song I really know is "Wolf in Jesus Skin" by Purgatory
Polka Dot Cadaver, bud.
Polka Dot Cadaver. Dude.
You were close. The name of the album was Purgatory Dance Party.
Yeah,
But,
that's what
you know.
that's what I was fucking up with. But that's the only Easter song I know is "Wolf in Jesus Skin."
I have to look this
Like,
up because
Oh, dude,
Uh,
they're the greatest two sets albums because it's Dog Fashion Disco and Polka Dot Cadaver. It's kind of like a combination of the same members. Excellent stuff.
I love all these names: Dogfight Disco and Purgatory Dance Party.
So Dog Fashion Disco is one of the bands,
Uh-huh.
and then the other one is Polka Dot Cadaver.
With the
But
album
the
called Purgatory.
Purgatory Dance Party.
That's
That whole-
amazing.
that-
All right,
that
I've never
whole-
heard these guys, but they sound like my vibe.
Oh, it's
Oh, there.
fucking epic.
Chance introduced me to him like our fourth
All right.
episode, and I freaking love them since. But, yeah, I mean that's the only Easter song that I ever could think of though. But
They do a lot of satirical stuff. Like one of their songs is called "Last Call at Jonestown."
that smirk and like giggle when it freaking hits. What the hell that means? Like,
I first learned of Jonestown through another musical band, another band through music. I liked the band the Brian Jonestown Massacre, but I didn't understand the name beyond the reference to the Rolling Stones, and that's when I decided to look up Jonestown and see what that was about. So that was it comes full circle almost.
Oh man, that's one of those things you got to be ready for.
yeah, I mean, yeah, just be ready for it and just learn never to drink someone else's Kool-Aid. But Chancey, what were your top 5 for Hot Apollo?
For me, number 5 was "Girl, I Got No Game." I mean, actual factual. I got no game. I got nothing. Number 4 was "A Week of You." Number 3 was "Hell for the Letters." I really enjoyed that one. Obviously, Party Messiah. Party Messiah, like you were talking about that staccato, that fucking guitar riff, fucking catches you every time. I'm a sucker for a good hook. And then for me, number 1 was "Time Out." I liked "Time Out" a whole lot.
Yeah, it was well, okay, I'll wait till I get to mine. But yeah, I'm not gonna. I keep trying to give away mine like ahead of time, and I don't know why. But I just like have to keep like being like, no, Jimmy, shut your mouth, not yet. Get back in your corner. But I mean, my number 5 was "Party Messiah" because I mean, I kind of got like the ironic vibe behind that song, and I freaking the title especially, and I thought it was a good song overall. I like the beat in it. Number 4 was "Light Me Up, Lady" because like I kind of can get like the meaning of that to some degree. Like it just made sense. And number 3, of course, was "Girl, I've Got No Game" because yeah, I mean, if you ask my wife, I got no game. So yeah,
And it worked out. That's the point.
yeah, you don't have to have game always, but you just have to be good. But number 2 is "Time Out," which I did love. That was a great way to open the CD to begin with. Like as soon as the CD started, I was like the guitar right away got me, and that the guitar on this is what kind of led me to what I picked. But we'll get to that in a bit. And number 1 for me was "Working on Love" because I totally dug that. It reminded me of like a 80s hair metal like classic ballad. Like, I mean, maybe do another version of it with like a female singer on it as well. Like it'd be amazing.
Ooh, yeah, I'd be up for that. If you know any who want to collaborate, I'm up for it.
I
I'm
mean,
definitely like interested in sort of like remix, re-envisioning of songs too. I haven't done like a lot of that, but like it is something like I'm open to because it always tends to produce interesting new art,
I mean,
variations on a theme kind of thing.
we interviewed one of our first musicians on the show was a pop star named Gigi Rowe. She might be interested because she's not like Britney Spears level pops. Like she's still trying to make her way up in the world. So it might be a good way for both of you to cross promote, kind of. But
Yeah, sounds good.
I mean, but just hit her up. She's available she's big on TikTok and Instagram. So hit her up on there, and I'm sure she might be down. But I also haven't talked to her in like 6 months. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know what she's up to at this point. But you never know. It's just an idea I had, and I think it's like one of the only real female artists we've had on here.
All right, yeah, remind me of the name after the show, and I'll look her up.
Yeah. And her music was pretty damn good actually too. I enjoyed her songs to some degree, and they were featured on some Netflix shows last summer. So
Oh, slay.
Yeah. I'm not sure which ones off the top of my head, but they're featured some Netflix shows. But all right, well, Chancey, I think we'll go with your album next, as it's kind of like moving up the scale from to
Oh, can
extremist.
I guess which album was chosen by which one of you?
Oh, be my
Because
guest.
I was thinking I didn't because I was only talking with one of you before this, and I thought you might have just like picked like two at random. Now I'm guessing that Chansey's was the Lordy one, yeah?
Nope.
Oh,
That's
all
twice.
right.
That's twice this has happened now.
That's fucking hilarious. Oh my
That's
god.
awesome.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for you to say that. Like I was just waiting for it.
I had a feeling. I had a feeling when they were like, "Oh yeah, let me take a guess." I was like, "Oh, yep, here we go again."
All right. I'm in notoriously poor judge of character, so
Yeah,
Chancey,
no, it's perfectly. Yeah, it's
Chancey,
great.
Lordy's not Lordy's not as bad as Scum, so you can't be
No,
that.
yeah, you're right. It is not as bad as the other one because the other one was bad, and then it's like, how the fuck are you gonna think that's me? I can understand why you would have thought that was me. That's a logistical reach.
I mean, I
My
can see why they thought Scum was you too, but yeah, we'll get into that.
So my album that I chose was actually the debut album for Third Eye Blind.
Line like a coder with the curves, coming like a freak show takes the stage. We give him the games to play. So say I want something else to get me through this semi-tongue kind of life, baby, baby. I want something else. I'm not listening when you say goodbye.
And the biggest reason that I chose, well, I usually will go through and I'll hit like shuffle play. I have a ridiculously long list of music on my YouTube music list. So 9 times out of 10, I'll get, the guest's album, Jeremy will tell me his album, and then I'll just start shuffle through to see what kind of locks in the closest to it. And I just, I was basically trying to find something that would match your album. And I was like, man, I guess I could open up my I was gonna go back into the classic rock, like into the vault, back into the 70s, 80s, stuff like that. And I was like, well, I'll go one more time. And I was bam. And then How's It Gonna Be came on. I was like, you know what? Yep, I'll go with that one. I've been wanting to bring that one for a while, and it's a good one to pair it with.
Well, there you go. But
Yeah.
as always, our guest gets to review the album next.
all right. So I don't own any like Third Eye Blind music. Like it wasn't something I was like, um, I don't think I've ever like purchased any other music like in like any sort of form. But so I wasn't like overly familiar with them. But I was listening to the album, and the song that stood out to me most was "Semi Charmed Life," and I thought, oh wait, I know the song somehow. Like I've heard the song so much over the course of my life, and whenever it's played, I've enjoyed just like hearing it, but I never knew what it was. I never like thought to look for it. I never knew the name of the song or the band, but all right, now I know it's "Semi Charmed Life" by Third Eye Blind. So that was the one that really stood out to me. I now made some notes.
Fun fact. That song's about crystal meth.
I did not know that either.
Did not know that either, but yeah, makes sense.
And so the rest of them hit me more from a sort of like lyrical or thematic standpoint. Narcolepsy was the next one because when I was a kid, some people thought I had narcolepsy. I had this thing where I'd fall asleep in class too much, and some people thought it was that. But like much later, it was discovered to be a consequence of epilepsy that prevented me from getting enough sleep like at night, so I'd fall asleep in class. But yeah, because of that, it made me like I was listening to narcolepsy, and I flashed back to that earlier misconception that surrounded some of my early schooling years.
All right. Well, before you do your top five, let me get my review in, And so Chancey can give us his own top five first. But see, when Chancey first sent this album to me on Sunday, whenever it was, I was like, Third Eye Blind. Does that mean that their dick is blind? Like that, like I hear Third Eye, that's what I think of. But
I think of like a chakra.
Right?
mind's eye. That's the mind's eye, not the third eye.
Prying open my
mind's
there
eye
is
is
the
the
third eye.
It's another
Yeah.
eye.
Yeah,
I
dude.
call it the mind's eye. My third eye's
All
down
right,
there.
what? So we're ranking all these songs. Where do you rank eyes? Like I think we need your ranking of eyes. Like which is number one, which is number two, which is number five. Like if
mean,
we're saying that every orifice is an eye or whatever, like what's the order?
I'm right-handed, so my right eye's number one. So yeah, that's simple. But
All right.
from there, just 1, 2, 3, and then mind's eye. That's I don't count that as an eye. I count that as a portal. But
You said, but I mean, all of them are portals to something.
I mean, I don't know. It was a joke I made to Chancey. I thought was pretty fucking funny. But
All right.
yeah. See, I knew Third Eye Blind. I knew the band. I just never really listened to any of their music like specifically. But I knew I had to know at least one or two of their songs. And I'm like, oh, watch. Chancey's gonna give me a CD with none of the songs I know on it because he does it all the time. But and then like I was pleasantly surprised that wasn't the case with this one. And I mean, yeah, this CD is just 90s nostalgia all around. Like so many TV show moments, so many days walking through grocery stores, working in grocery stores, and hearing like some of these songs like playing on over the PA and whatnot. So, but yeah, so I actually enjoyed this album, Chancey. You did good for once. It's not your typical 90s bullshit you bring on that sounds the same as everything else. So. Fucking Bush. But what were your top five in your seat, Chancey?
Well, let's see. For mine, number 5 was London. I don't know why, but something about it just really kind of reached out and grabbed me. God of Wine was number 4.
Ooh.
Well, you know, 3 through 1's basically all their basic chart toppers. Their radio singles. For me, number 3 was Jumper. Number 2 was How's It Gonna Be, and number 1 was Semi Charmed Life. Because I mean, especially once I learned what the song's actually about, you can actually hear it when you go back and listen to it again. It's like, oh shit. He literally did just say crystal meth. Well, I guess fucking doodle do.
Well, more like snorter doodle do. But yeah. So James, what were your top 5 for Third Eye Blind? Unless some of the ones you said already were your top 5, but even though
I said yeah, Semi-Charmed Life and
Narcolepsy.
Narcolepsy, right? London was another good one because again, flashing back to my childhood, like my father was an immigrant from England, and most of his family still lived in England, mostly around London. So I spent a fair bit of my childhood in London with his family, and so I just was listening to a song called London, and just naturally thinking of my childhood in London, and the good times I had there with family and new friends.
all right.
Yeah, so I was up there. God of Wine is actually another one because one of my earliest fascinations was mythology, and Dionysus was a particular figure that stood out to me by virtue of I mean, it wasn't specifically about the wine; it was how he represented the more like ecstatic, passionate approach to art instead of the sort of more orderly, like reasoned approach that typified the sort of Raphaelite era.
Yeah.
You know, like Dionysus was about the frenzy of creative expression, and
Trust
that
me.
always really appealed to me.
I'm a huge mythology fan / buff, and like the Dionysus with his wine. Like, I mean, you can't. It's Greek mythology, so you know, wine leads to orgies in Greek mythology constantly. So, especially with the centaurs and whatnot. But I mean, Greek mythology is a fucked up place. Just putting it out there. Zeus
Yeah.
is 100% rapey.
Well, I mean, the thing about especially the Greek gods, but I mean, a lot of pantheons, like they're not like they're in the same way that people like aren't. I think people are like accustomed to the idea of gods as like inhuman and almost homogenous, where like they're only like one thing, but like they're not. Like especially in Greek conception, a god was just a human on a bigger scale, and where a person who's good or bad might also have parts of themselves that are uh, the other thing. Um, that's like blown into an exaggerated proportion on for a god. And so yeah, when the gods are good, they do great stuff. They create the seasons. They create bounty for humanity. But when they're bad, it's really bad.
Oh, I
So
mean, Zeus's basically daily philosophy was, what animal do I have to turn into today to get laid? Like that was basically,
yeah, well, yeah, no, he did some terrible things, but he also paved the way for humanity to exist in the first place by overthrowing Cronus and his
oh yeah,
Titan hierarchy. Like
Nothing
Oh,
like a little fratricide or
fratricide, yeah.
yeah.
well, it's necessary because his other option was to get eaten by said
Well,
father.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
if
right.
if it's that your dad like literally eats you and not in a dirty way, like then like yeah, 100%, like you do what you gotta do, and then he gets to become the king douche himself and like kind of just fuck with everybody for thousands of years. But I mean,
Yeah,
like
well, fuck with them, yes, but like
literally.
he didn't enslave all of humanity and like quash them in the way that Cronus did.
Well, I mean,
So it was a step up.
I mean, yeah, I ain't gonna get into it too much because this is a mythology podcast.
You're right. You're right.
As much as I do want to start one of those, but I mean, Zeus, Zeus definitely was a petty motherfucker. Like,
Yeah.
there are times where he would take things out in humanity for like no fucking reason other than he didn't get laid that day, or fucking Hera found out something he did that day. Like he would just be like, "Oh, you got me caught, you fucked." But I mean, like basically, but I don't know. It's just Greek mythology is the most fucked up of the mythologies. I mean, all the other ones are like crazy, but like still like other ones are more respectful still in Greek mythology. It's like Jesus, Zeus is just Zeus and Hades and even Hercules. They all make it like just horrible. But
Yeah.
and I love mythology, so that's saying something. Uh but I'm sorry. Did you finish your top five? I honestly got lost in the mythology wormhole.
I can't remember. I was. How many did I do?
You stopped it. So you had narcolepsy, semi-charmed life, God on Wine, and London. So I think there was one more.
Right, there was one more. Oh, just what? Jumper just hit me from the right angle somehow. It just had those like, pleasant, mellow vibes. Just kind of classic, like summer evening, listening. That's how it hit me. So that one caught my attention for that. So I'd say Jumper at number 5.
All right.
Nice.
Oh, interesting. Well, Chancey, I actually had 2 honorable mentions for your CD because there were so many good tracks in the CD. I could have done more, but I was trying to limit it. But I mean, Narcolepsy was definitely an honorable mention because it was a rockin' song, but mainly because it made me think of the Argentinian in Moulin Rouge.
I love that movie and that soundtrack.
Thank you.
Good call.
Chancey refuses to watch it.
I don't like. Okay, listen. I was in choir, and in order to be in choir, you had to be in show choir, and in show choir, they forced us to watch all the musicals. And I'm not a big fan of doing things that I don't want to do. All right, it's just what it is.
It's Obi-Wan fucking Kenobi singing. That should be all the reason you need to watch it.
No, it's not Obi-Wan Kenobi singing. It really isn't because I don't see a single force push or a force choke or fucking nothing. All right. If you depict,
except they named Obi-Wan Kenobi's love interest in the Clone Wars after his love interest from Moulin Rouge.
Satine. Yeah.
yeah, that's valid.
So it is.
That's valid.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah, so there you go.
Big Star Wars nerd here too, and also a huge fan of Moulin Rouge.
And I mean, it's you'd like it just because it's a lot of freaking 90s rock thrown into it. Like,
yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, it's the whole groups of people randomly breaking into song and dance.
But
Like
it's not
that shit.
random.
Yo.
It's not really. It's not random.
No, I'm always thinking about it, watching the movie as if I'm a person minding my own business, walking through the streets, buying something at the local market, and everybody starts to fucking sing and dance around me. Nah, dude, I'm freaking out. I'm panicking.
Okay, but it's a it's a period piece. It's not like Rent, where like it could happen in New York City. Like it's a period piece. Like
Well,
so,
it's not
across
it's-
the universe or any of it, really. I mean,
but it's sort of fantastical too, though. It's got like it's like larger than life, right? It's got that it's a sort of fable, honestly, you know.
Yeah.
And like it's 90s rock or whatever. It's like modern music in the 19th century to like show how this guy is a sort of man out of time. He's a genius that transcends his era.
it's Nirvana, it's Queen, it's Elton John, it's like a lot of artists we covered on this fucking show before. Like
yeah,
it's not like it's original scores written for a musical. Like I can understand not wanting to do that, not wanting to watch those kind of musicals. I can understand because
I don't like those either. It's just I didn't say I just happen to like that one. I like that one more than I like others of the other genre, like the Seven Brides for Seven Brothers and all that other stuff. But
I mean, valid. Like no shade on like personal taste, but I mean, also, I mean, you're like you do strike me as someone who might like at least have an appreciation for like Rocky Horror, and that's
I love Rocky Horror. Yeah, it is. It is.
Breaking you the song randomly,
It is, but you're also like in a more secluded setting. You're in the castle. It's other people.
I mean, in Moulin Rouge, you're basically in the club the whole time.
You're in a club.
My two favorite musicals, and they're
you're literally.
I was going to say, isn't there a street scene?
Not really.
It's like a street outside the club.
Yeah, my bad.
You're literally in the Moulin Rouge the whole time, or you're in the apartment across the street from the Moulin Rouge. Like
it's the Devil May Cry of musicals, basically.
You say it's the Devil May Cry.
It's the Devil May Cry 3 of musicals.
Okay, I was going to say you better pick the right one, cause
I think Rocky Horror is Devil May Cry 1. Moulin Rouge is the Devil May Cry 3.
Fair.
The last thing I'm gonna say about that, Chancey, is watch it with
also,
Casey.
the Nirvana
and you'll get watch it with Casey, you'll get laid.
I mean, I don't need to watch a musical with her just to get laid. Like that's not that. I don't know.
Oh,
it's not like I have to leave a trail of breadcrumbs. Like, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Like, what are you talking about?
Mr. Stud over here doesn't need a musical to get laid. Must be nice.
I mean, I technically don't either because my girlfriend, my wife hates musicals. Thank God she's sleeping. But my wife hates musicals. But I mean, still, like, I watch Moulin Rouge and she tells me like, "Oh, turn off that GAY shit." Like, I'm like, really? Like, that's just how my wife is. Like, she just doesn't like musicals. But but I'm friends with Chancey, so I can't hate on her for it because I'm used to people who don't like musicals. But
oh, it's my fault. Okay, I'll wear that hat.
Always.
I'll wear that.
Chancey, and my other honorable mention on yours was "I Want You," because
Jesus.
I know, right? But that song was magical.
It was a good song. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, honestly, I was debating putting it on the list like halfway through, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like it just like it picks up halfway through and just like starts being hardcore, and I'm like, "Okay." But number 5 was Jumper. And yes, the one of the ones I actually knew ahead of time was actually number 5 instead of the top 3 because it got pushed down. Number 4 was Gotta Wine because like 3/4 of the way through that song, I started really loving it. Like I was sitting in my car, my boy and me at work just smoked a little bit of a pre-rolled on lunch, so I was starting to listen to that. Like halfway through, and like the watermelon soda pre-roll I just smoked all of a sudden starts hitting me a little more, and I'm like, "Ooh, this song's amazing." But number 3 was Thanks a Lot because that was a good song. Number 2 was How It's Going to Be. And of course, number 1 was Semi-Charmed Life because that's the first one that popped out. I'm like, oh, Chancey gave me a CD with songs I know. Yay. Like that was really and I was like, oh, I know this song. It's on all the playlists that all my coworkers used to play in the warehouse at my last job of '90s songs. Like, but so I mean, yeah, I enjoyed your CD, Chancey, for once. Not for once, for the first time in a few weeks, probably. I think.
Hey, I'll take it where I can get it.
Well, we know this, but and yeah, so James already guessed what CD Chancey brought, and he guessed wrong, so he knows what CD already I brought. But for those of them who haven't been in the know for the last couple days, the CD I decided to bring was, and I picked this solely because of the guitar in your album, and like I'm like, all right, I need a CD that has amazing guitar throughout the whole CD, and so I brought Lordy's To Beast or Not to Beast album because I also felt bad about the last Lordy CD I brought on a couple weeks ago, and where Chancey said it was all about forced relationships. So I had or forced coupling, and I had to bring on I had to bring on a CD that was by Lordy that was a little more respectable to Chancey's high class there. So,
I am not high class. I just can't. It's just one of those things where if I see the open door, I'm gonna be like, "You do know this whole CD is about this, right?"
And yes, the CD was a little Zeus, like a little rapey, but I mean, Lordy's Sexorcism is still a damn good music CD. But I brought To Beast or Not to Beast of this one, which is one of my favorite Lordy CDs by far. It has my favorite Lordy song of all time on it. That's why I had to bring it.
I'm gonna kill you. 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 Kill you.
The man with his fingers of knives, the red and green sweater is free. You bought a chainsaw and you cocked it upright. The saw is the family affairs on the blade. Vultures making circles in the air. Forensics collect evidence with lots of care. The bodies in the woods by crystal lake. Just like in the movies they say. It's all horror fiction, still a screen addiction. Cinematic gore and murder, it's horror fiction, not a fact prediction. Movies cannot make it a killer, it's horror fiction.
And honestly, I love Lordy, as anybody who listens to this show religiously knows, because this is like the fourth time I brought them, I think, or third.
Oh,
Actually,
at least,
fourth.
yeah.
It's fourth, yeah. First CD, third CD, Sexorcism, and then this CD. So yeah. But so I mean, I love Lordy. I think they're one of the greatest things ever to come out of Finland besides Nightwish. But actually, no, they're not from Finland. I never know where they're from. I always want to say England. I always want to say USA. I don't fucking know.
I'm
But
pretty sure it's somewhere in Scandinavia. So Finland's close.
okay,
Probably Norway, if I had to guess, honestly.
Well,
But I'm not good with geography either, so
just
whatever.
because they are Finnish. I was fucking right. There I go
Alright,
down myself.
yes.
There I go down myself again. I'm amazing, but I'm the best, like I said. But yeah, I saw those eyes, Chancey. But yeah. So Lordy, I had to bring this one. It's one of my. It was one of my favorite CDs they put out. I was already a huge fan of them by the time it came out, but when it came out, like the first day I literally bought it FYE, like the first day it came out, or on maybe it was an Apple Music, I don't fucking remember, but I bought it somewhere and I listened to it the first day. I was like amazed by how good the CD was, so I had to bring it on. And the guitar is what made me match it to your CD. But what do you think? What did you think of Lordy, James? If you haven't heard him before,
So I had heard Lordy before. When I was a kid, I had a actually pretty big fixation on hair metal, and I noticed that there weren't like really any hair metal bands. So I wondered, hey, what happened to that whole genre? So like I did some research because I had an extra bit of like OCD where I can like really fixate on things, and some people were saying that like some of the sort of successors to the hair metal ethos were in more modern theatrical metal acts like Lordi. And so I listened to some of their songs, and some of them like really hit me in the right way. And then I think I didn't like forget about them, but I didn't really pay attention to their new output. Like the stuff I remember is like Hard Rock Hallelujah, stuff like that. Um, when I did search to find to Beast or Not to Beast online, the first result I got was a song from the X-Men First Class score, which was also cool, but not what I was looking for. But then I finally did find the right album, and the first song that really stood out to me was uh, "Not Bad for Kids," which initially like spoke to uh, this the idea that art of any kind doesn't need to be forbidden or prohibited beyond a certain age. Like the right person can find good stuff in the right music at any time. Whereas a lot of there's a lot of censorship that says, hey, you're not old enough, you're not tall enough for this ride. Like go home, wait like 10 years to listen to this. And generally that's nonsense. But then of course it says actually we're worse. So it kind of undercuts that whole thing. But with a wink and a nod. So that's that to me for that reason.
All right, nice.
Um,
Well, I mean, just save your top five for a minute now, but for a few minutes now. But was that all your review, or did you already? I didn't know if you were going to your top five. I just wanted to stop.
Oh no,
before you hit that very.
that was the first of my top five.
Okay, so which is, I mean, it literally is the first song on the album, and it's a fucking amazing song. But I'll get to that in a few minutes when I do mine. But Chancey, out of the 4 Lordi albums you've heard now, where do you rank this one?
Oh, at the very bottom. Absolutely hated it.
Yeah,
Nah.
compared to Sexorcism, I can't believe that.
Yeah, no, I couldn't even get it out with a straight face. No, honestly, I did enjoy the album. It was a good album. Great guitar riffs. Not necessarily making a pun on the name of the song, but like for real though, like good songs, good good structure, good storytelling to some of the songs with some of the melodic structure. I really did. I enjoyed it. I didn't get any honorable mentions out of it or anything like that, but I was easily able. Well, that's not true. I did technically get one, but
Yeah, I already know. But
oh, do you now?
oh, I do, sir. I do.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, no, I honestly, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I waited to listen to yours last, mostly just because I didn't have to listen to mine at all, and I was like, okay, I gotta find, I gotta listen to the Hot Apollo here so I can find something to match it. Just gotta find that match.
Right. Well, that's funny because I listened to yours last too. So there we go. But
Yeah.
it's usually the way it works with us. But all right. Well, I only had one honorable mention for my CD chances. So I actually had one less honorable mention for mine than I did for yours. And my honorable mention was that first song that James mentioned. We're not bad for the kids. We're worse, because as soon as I heard that fucking opening track, the first time I heard the CD, I was amazed, because that's. I mean, the title alone made me intrigued, but then as soon as I heard the track, like, it was just hilarious and classic Lordi. Like, it's just the first time always hurts. Like, the fact they throw that into a fucking song, tell we're not bad for the kids. Like, it's just like, Jesus Christ, what are you guys doing? But I mean, I love the ironicness of it. And I, like you said, the message behind it too, like, because like I'm a huge fan of Marilyn Manson, and his music almost being banned in the '90s because he supposedly inspired Columbine. Ooh, like, yeah, like, I hate I hate the freaking Karens of the world since then that thought about like, shit like that. So I agree with the message. Number 5 was Something Wicked This Way Comes. Like, because I mean, I'm a huge fan of the musical Wicked, and that's like kind of where this comes from. But the guitar and drums in that song are just fucking beyond belief incredible. Like towards the end of the song, when the guitar and drums are just doing like a duet together, like for the last half of the song, it's just amazing. Like, I was a drummer, so the drummer part like really stuck out to me. My number 4 is "I'm the Best" because I mean my ego doesn't allow me to not love that song because I've literally played that blasting right on my car driving through like everywhere because yeah, that's how I feel. But number 3, of course, was horror fiction because I do love like horror novels and horror. I like horror in any genre really, and the fact that people flip out over that stuff and like try to like stop their kids from watching it and whatnot, like the song literally spells it out. It's horror fiction, not like reality. So, and of course, number 2 is "Candy for the Cannibal" because that song is just classic, clever Lordy. Like, and like the story in the whole song is amazing. The part at the end where he's in prison, he's like, and he's like, I'm like all the prisoners are avoiding my eyes because I'm looking for the last meal I will find, and like it's like, oh, like that shit's just magical. The way they sing it, and of course, number 1 was my favorite Lordy song of all time, "The Riff," because I am a sucker for any song that features like a Grim Reaper devil type like thing to it. We covered Demons and Wizards 2 episodes ago, and there's kind of the same thing in that. And I'm getting, of course, "Stairway to Heaven" and all the other songs out there about meeting the devil or meeting the Reaper. I mean, devil went down to Georgia for God's sake, going back old school. But I mean, just any song like that I love, and the literal riff in the song is so freaking incredible. Like I fell in love with it. That's part of the reason I fell in love with the CD is because of the riff. And I mean, Lordy's storytelling. Lordy's storytelling in songs is always so fucking incredible. One of the reasons I love them so much, and that's why they've been on the show almost as much as any other band besides maybe Nightwish. But which I got start diversifying. But I'm making up for it next week, Chancy. You already know that. But what were your top 5 for Lordy, James?
So I mentioned Not Bad with Kids.
Mhm.
You mentioned the riff, which was also really up there for me because it's about like riffing, right? Like a riff is essentially what rock and roll is built on. So it's about the glory of that uh, core musical foundation of the genre all of us enjoy and to varying degrees live by.
And
Uh,
I just
so,
want to add, I just want to add there too. The one line in that song, like the devil hasn't really hit because he lost his mind with all this hip hop shit. Like I was at a point in my life where I really hated rap music, like especially current day rap music, besides like underground juggalo music type stuff. So like that line hit me so heavy when it came out that I was like, oh my god, I agree. Because like, even rock had died at that point, like in the late 00s, because like there was just not much good rock coming out at that point, in my opinion, either. Like maybe in Europe, but I mean in America there wasn't much good rock coming out either. But please continue. Sorry to interrupt.
oh yeah, and another one that stuck out was "Something Wicked This Way Comes" because it was probably one of the first things I read by Ray Bradbury when I was a kid, and
Mhm.
just like right from the opening, that novel really captured my attention. So, song that was at least like nominally based on it stuck out to me too. You mentioned uh, "Candy for the Cannibal," which, as you know, when I was a kid, I had a pretty big sweet tooth, so that stuck out to me. That caught my attention too. And as you said, like a lot of clever lyricism throughout. And then lastly, I think "Love Ugly" because um,
Mm.
love is a common theme in a lot of my work, and but sometimes love isn't as perfect or unblemished as you might expect. It can be ugly, but it can still be love. And so, "Love Ugly." That's how it spoke to me.
Which you married. But I mean I yeah, that's one song that I like fought not to put on my list, but I'm like nope. I'm like if you put every song you like in your list, you're not gonna have too long a list. Just leave it off. But I mean that song is amazing. Like there's just the opening like of about like alligators and snakes like eating cuter animals. Like it's just like how they like it's just like how they open it and everything. I love that song. And like I mean of course the drums and guitar are amazing because it's Lordy. But Sir Chance-a-Lot, what were your top 5?
You know, honestly, I'm gonna pull a Jeremy.
Oh, buddy. I mean, I said I want
Gotcha,
to.
gotcha, motherfucker.
No.
That look on your face, dude. You were like, no, he didn't. Is he really?
No. But I mean, I figured me saying I want you and you getting all excited over that, like that, you might want to pull Jeremy after that. And, like,
That's funny.
For the show, but you know.
Yeah, that's good. No, so like for me, number 5 was I'm the Best. I had to put it that at last place because I knew that is going to be like one of your higher scored ones with your
It was number 4, motherfucker.
Oh, is it number 4? Is it? Maybe not in your mind.
No, it's number 4 on my list and my mind. So yeah.
Oh, well, I stand corrected. Number 4 was Something Wicked This Way Comes. Number 3 was The Riff.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Number 2 was We're Not Bad for the Kids, We're Worse.
Mm-hmm.
And then since you know me so well, what's my number 1? What's my number 1, Jeremy?
SCG-6 outro.
Horror Fiction.
I knew that was gonna be the song you picked. I figured you picked the outro though as number 1 as well. But
You're right. You got me dead to rights, but I had to fuck with you a little bit. No, you're right.
I mean, and honestly, Otis, I almost put that on my list because Otis's Butcher Clinic was a pretty damn good outro with like a sick ass like techno beat to it almost. But
That was sick.
yeah, I mean it was. But and I love that Lordy puts their intros, outros like in the middle of their CD or the end of their CD. It's rarely at the beginning unless it's like a theme like the first CD I brought on. But actually, did I bring on like no, Rock Lips is the first one. But and I knew you would love Horror Fiction because it's like.
Oh, dude, you listed off every one of my favorite movies. Yeah.
I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre's in there, Hellraiser's in there, and like Freddy Krueger and like all your favorite movies. So yeah, I knew you'd love that song, and I was excited for the CD for that reason too, because I know any song that has to do with actual horror movies you'll love. But yeah, I had to redeem Morty after bringing Sexorcism on and getting hated so much by everybody else. So. Though Naked in My Cellar is still an amazing song. I don't care what you say.
It ain't no Chloroform Girl, but it tries.
Dude, it's a heavier version of Chloroform Girl by far. And
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I love Chloroform Girl, but Naked in My Cellar.
Poor James. Chloroform Girl is it's a Polka Dot Cadaver song.
I really have to look these guys up.
Oh, for real.
Yeah.
It's like a folksy 60s acoustic song style melody, and then lyrics that are like, Chloroform girl, how have you been? Don't let me catch you sleeping again. You're only alive because I like you.
So it's basically like the Beach Boys if they'd actually gotten their buddy Charles Manson to join the band.
Yeah,
I was gonna say more like the Beatles if Manson would have joined up, because it's not.
Yeah.
They don't have quite the vocalization of the Beach Boys, but I see where you're going with the Manson element. Absolutely, like. They have a song called Touch You Like Caligula and fucking like they got all sorts of crazy shit out there. It's such good stuff. Such good stuff. I've honestly between Polka Dot and Dog Fashion, if you were to blend them into a single band, it'd be like this generation's Pink Floyd.
Huh, interesting. All right.
Well, he'll definitely have to check them out, and hopefully Dog Fashion Just Go might be making an appearance soon in one of our specials as well. We'll see. I think next month possibly even, but we'll see.
June is my birthday.
It's your birthday.
Happy birthday!
Woo!
Yeah. Because but yeah, I mean we'll see, because I mean it is your birthday and it is also your month for artist pick for the bracket. So we'll see. But well, we hit all 3 CDs, ladies and gentlemen, and we had 3 good CDs this week, as always. I don't think we've ever had a horrible CD besides maybe Sunhouse, but we don't talk about that.
You
We'll
leave
talk
my
about
Delta Blues out of this.
We don't talk about that. But James, where can they find you? Where can they find your band? Just self-promote to the fullest.
So the band is called Hot Apollo, HOTAPOLLO. If you search for us literally anywhere online by that name, you will find us iTunes, Bandcamp, Spotify, social media, like wherever. We're easy to like reach, find. We're on every like whatever you listen to music on online, like we're there. We're Hot Apollo. As I said, you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, like whatever. Our Twitter accounts did get hacked recently, so we're not currently in charge of the Hot Apollo handle there, but everywhere else, Hot Apollo. Our Linktree is just Linktree Hot Apollo. Has all of our links to all of our stuff. YouTube, we've got music videos too. You can reach out to me anywhere if you have thoughts. Message me on Instagram or whatever. Like tell me how much you loved, hated, or were confused by the album. I'm open to whatever you have to say. Talk to me about mythology or Star Wars, whatever, Moulin Rouge. I'm open to all of it. So yeah, Hot Apollo is the band, and we're everywhere, and only going everywhere else.
Nice. Well, sir, everybody, please check them out, and of course, you'll be able to. Of course,
For
by now,
sure.
the song you heard in the beginning of this episode, if you're listening to it in podcast form, will be a Hot Apollo song. So,
Ooh, I'm excited.
as you should be. But
Which one is this? Surprise me.
I'll surprise
Ooh.
you. I know which one it is already, but I'll surprise you.
All right.
Speaking of surprises, Chancey, where can they find you besides the back of their closets?
Well, why you gotta give all my good hiding spots away, dude? Seriously.
I apologize.
There's the Book of Faces under my name. Instagram and TikTok is the Red Eye Roundtable. Twitter is Red Eye Table because apparently you got to pay by the syllable.
Fuck Jeff Bezos.
Wait, what? I think that's the wrong one.
Elon, whatever the fuck his name is. Well, fuck Jeff Bezos too.
Yeah, okay, fuck it. Why not? We'll make a
Well,
whole
random,
goddamn.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll just make a whole goddamn fuck them. But anyway, as far as socials go, that's pretty much it for that. Maniacal Music Musings every Tuesday. The Void, the dark recesses of your nightmares. All the fun places the kids like to hang out these days.
Exactly. So you can also find them smoking cigarettes outside the mall. But, you said these days, not the 90s. Okay.
Yeah, not the 90s.
But you could find both of us on Facebook as Paranormal Normal / Maniacal Music Musings podcast with an S Facebook group. And when I say this time, I mean it. Name change coming soon. And you can find us on Twitter and the Gram as that Juggalo Bastard. You can find us on TikTok as that Juggalo Bastard Podcast. And you can find us on YouTube, where this is streaming, one of 3 places, as Maniacal Music Musings. And please be sure, by the time this episode drops, our Ice Cube bracket will already been live, hopefully, and we'll be coming up with our Will Smith / Jeremy's birthday bracket. So we'll be getting jiggy with it in the summertime. So
Good time to get you with it.
exactly, and it's almost summertime. So, but we will catch you next week, all our faithful listeners, where we have another musician on as well, which seems to be a trend right now, and I'm liking it, and the listeners are liking it, and Chancey's liking it, so we're happy.
Yes.
Our guests are liking it. So we love promoting our artist music. If you are a musician of any kind and want to come on the show, shoot me a DM. We'll get you on. Not a problem. But until next time, your musers thank you, and we thank James for coming on. Check out Hot Apollo. They are a damn good band, and seeing James wild out and dance around in the Spotify background made it all the better. So, but your musers thank you, and be good.
to say. I see the neighbors are avoiding my looks. They know my story as it's all in the books, yeah. But I am happier than ever before, 'cause I'm a grown man in a candy store. I know this feeling might not last for long. I know my urge and it's way too strong. I know I should not do my thing. No, no. But you look so damn mouth-watering. You're the candy for the cannibal. Won't you come and trust the animal? You're my tasty little treat. Sweet candy. You're the candy for the cannibal. You're good at the daggers, you're so edible. I'll be tenderizing your mama needs. Meat candy to me. I keep my distance when observing the girls. They make me feel like I'm alone in this world. Some call it stalking, I say shopping's the word. And when I'm shopping, girls are about to get hurt. I know I should not do my thing. Oh no. But you look so damn mouth-watering. You're the candy for the cannibal. Won't you come and trust the animal? You're my tasty little treat. Sweet candy. You're the candy for the cannibal. You're good at the daggers, you're so edible. I'll be tenderizing your mama needs. Meat candy to me. I am simply a man, but they call me the beast. Oh, why can't they understand? A man's just gotta eat. They threw in silence as I walked in today. The warden did not have a thing to say. I watched the prisoners avoiding my love.